let's talk about the worksheets that come with this session. These come from a session on 15 minutes a week to getting it done. And there are 3 worksheets there. I think here you're going to get just the one of them. The value of this, let me go forward one and see if, the value of, and you see because you have it in front of you, I think you got the worksheet before this coaching session, is in laying down the connections that you have, rating them. What's my relationship with them? Is it rare, medium, well done? Are they a client? Are they a referrer? What are some actions needed to move them left to right on that pipeline, but also on this here? And did I do one of those things? Did I turn them into a client? Did they refer somebody to me? Let me put a check mark and celebrate with Starbucks, run around the park, bottle of champagne, whatever works for you. So this worksheet comes with this session because the value I see when working with attorneys to, at one point in time, get it out of your head and get it in front of yourself on a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet or whatever works for you. When I do this with attorneys, it's so fun to watch. Oh, right, Raphael over at, and I know, oh, and the board member at, and so they just start going and they start remembering. And despite our ability to think that we can retain all of that and work on all of that and move all of that along correctly, it's better to do it like this at least once, like at the end of this session. Okay, you know what? Let me look at my connections that I have. And I think at the top of the sheet, it says, label 10, but label as many as you want. Remember that budget list we saw before with something like 30 different organizations? Maybe that's you. Maybe you're an associate and you can put down 2 or 3. Hey, I know these people from law school. Hey, I did work on this matter and got to know their assistant general counsel or the paralegal or their accident reconstruction specialist or this med-mal expert. Whatever these connections might be for you, these are clients and referral connections, trade organizations, the United Way I mentioned before. Here is a place to gather all that at one time, and it's really helpful for you if you do the 15 minutes to getting it all done session to reflect on this now and again. It should sit in the front of your binder. I'm indicating a binder here, but like you printed it out. That's how most of the attorneys I work with prefer to do it. And they flip through and they say, oh, connection. I have not reached out to this person. I listed them at one time, but I haven't done anything about that. How do I move them from left to right? If I didn't put them on the list, I might have forgotten them for 2 years. A short story about this, working with an attorney in San Francisco. And we got to this point in doing a business plan with her. And we were talking about her connections. And she said, oh man, look, come around the desk. I know all these people. And she opened up the drawer, the bottom drawer on our desk, and there were all these business cards just sliding around. And she just picked it. Yeah, I met her 2 years ago at this conference, the Defense Research Institute conference in New Orleans. Have you talked to her since then? No, but she knows who I am and will reach out if she, okay, that person 2 years later doesn't remember who you are. And I was trying to be blunt, but I was also trying to, drive home the point that having it in a drawer in the desk is not the best way to build and curate that referral network. So the upside of that is we got a bunch of those out. We found about 20 of them that really had some potential and some legs that weren't too distant. And we started to build outreach to all of them. And it really worked for her. And by the way, you can say, look, I realize it's been 8 months since we met at this convention, but I kicked myself, but I wanted to reach out and say hi. People, that's fine with people. It's better to reach out with some sort of mea culpa than never to do it at all. You get that all the time as well. It's been so long. Heck, I get that from relatives. I haven't talked to in a year, and they're an uncle or whatever. So organizing your connections. using that to build and curate your referral networks is really valuable. Here's a great way that will help you memorialize, move those along, and get it visual and get it in front of you. When you're doing all of this, when you're doing your sponsorship audit, when you're looking at potential memberships or associations you want to be active with, Steve Jobs' quote about saying no to concentrate on things that are really important is really valuable. Imagine all the opportunities Apple had and has, all the different things they could do. And this was a really powerful quote, I think. Yeah, but by learning to say no, I don't want to do 12 things okay, I want to do, and Apple is very direct about this, we're doing 3 things a year and we're doing them really well. So they were able to focus it down to what really fit into their strengths. So think about this when you're doing your sponsorship audit, when you're working on those connections, when you're working on the takeaways to this session.